Assalamualaikum and good day to those watching this video. My name is AISYAH Binti Muhammad Yusuf from MLG 1201B. From my ELS101 video assessment, I'll be talking about a YouTube video that I've recently watched and analyzed titled "When I Point at You, You Speak." The video contains a snippet from a movie titled Moneyball. It is an American biographical sports drama film following a main character named Billy Beane, the general manager of Oakland Athletics Club of Major League Baseball. The main issues that I'll be touching on for this video are calculating players' aggregate to replicate Giambi's on-base percentage, OBP, and choosing 3 defective players to replace Giambi with a tight budget. The video began with point number 1, calculating players' aggregate to replicate Giambi's OBP. The video began with a meeting member reminding Billy Beane they needed to make up the 38 home runs and 120 RBIs runs batted in after Giambi had left the club to join the Yankees. Billy shared to the club meeting members that they won't be able to replace Giambi in the next baseball game, but instead they can recruit him in the aggregate. He continued further by comparing the OBP of 3 players, where Giambi's was 477, Damon's being 324, and Olmedo's 291. The aggregate of the 3 of them together was 364, which meant they would need 3 ball players whose average OBP is 364. Personally, I find Billy's ability to respond fast and cleverly in a tough situation quite admirable, and it makes a good example to follow. Point number 2, choosing 3 defective players to recruit Giambi with a tight budget. Billy stated that they would first need Jeremy. However, a few meeting members explained their disagreement. This could be heard when they said, and I quote, "Billy, that's trouble, and he's getting thick around the waist," as Jeremy had had problems both on and off the field, like clubbing and smoking weed. But Billy shrugged it off, replying with, "His on-base percentage is all we're looking at right now, and Jeremy gets on base an awful lot for a guy who only costs $285,000. In my opinion, I think Billy Beane should have at least listened to his colleagues' opinions, and as his straightforwardness came off as rude and risky. The second player, Billy stated, would be David Justice. Despite David being a good player who had played in lots of big games, most of the meeting members had low expectation. David was depicted as having lost his legs due to the non-repairable nerve damage in his left elbow, making him a defensive liability for the team. This is evident when a meeting member groaned, and I quote, "His legs are gone." Again, Billy disregarded them as David gets on base. Furthermore, the third player would be Scott Hatberg. The meeting members were flabbergasted at Billy's choice that one of them spoke up and clearly explained their displeasure. "Let me get this straight. You're gonna get a guy that's been released by half of the organizations in baseball because he's got a non-repairable nerve damage in his elbow and can't throw." To which Billy responded with, "He can't throw, and he can't field, but what can he do?" Consequently, the meeting members answered that Scott gets on base. While Billy Beane's quick-witted action could be seen as praiseworthy, he lacks cooperation, which is an inevitable aspect in a workplace. In conclusion, by watching this video, we can learn to innovatively use statistical analysis and develop the courage to take risks such as shown by Billy Bean.